Welcome to Caseback Watches. My name is Tim and today's topic is the burglar. Yes, a week ago my girlfriend called me at work and she said, well, you have forgotten to lock the door properly with a key. And I was frightened and I worried instantly, of course, about my watches. And I counted them, I memorized them, and it wasn't so bad. Rolex date just on the wrist, okay. Then I had a Oris Pointer date in my little office here. I'm wearing it right now. And a Bulova women's watch, little automatic, and my Omega Constellation from my grandfather. And in total, let's say 1,800 US. So not so bad. If you have an iPad or an expensive camera, that's probably worth more. But I was a little concerned because it wasn't always the case. One time I remember very good, I stored watches in this room worth of 20,250 euros, which makes roughly about 26,000 US, and that's uncomfortable, I must say. This is really uncomfortable. Okay, but let's go over the numbers. How big is the risk to be a victim of a burglar nowadays? I can only speak for Central Europe, Hamburg, Germany. It is fair safe, I guess, in comparison to other places in the world, unfortunately. Maybe it's a little safer than, let's say, South Italy, and it's not so super safe like Sweden or Denmark. But I think it's in the upper quarter, let's say, upper quarter, yeah. And 2015, here we saw an all-time high of burglars. And it was executed by a East European mob. And the police and the press and everybody was very frightened, and they formed a special squad called Castle. And I think they hit the burglars pretty hard because numbers are declining now, declining very, very strong. But in 2015 we saw 9,000 burglaries, 9,000 burglaries. And imagine 10 years, 90,000 burglaries. And that seems a lot to me, it seems a lot. But we also have, I think, 960,000 households in Hamburg. 1960,000 households. And so the risk to be a victim of a burglar was 1%. Yes, 1%. But imagine 10 years, then you have a risk of 10%. And 10%, I think this is something to consider, right? Maybe the numbers are now a little smaller. Maybe there are 7, 8, 9% in 10 years to be the victim of a burglar. So I think we need hideouts. We watch people, we need hideouts for our possessions. And I made a list. I made a list for myself and I will read it to you, and at the end we will discover something interesting. First, water tank in the bathroom. Pockets in your coats or jackets. Fair idea, I think. I have a great coat for the winter. I use it 2 times, let's say 10 times a year. And the rest of the time it could be a hideout for watches. Why not? Under the mattress. Under the dirty laundry. In the coffee tin. Under a loose floorboard. Possible here because we have a wooden floor. Behind a picture. In the knot of the curtain rail. Okay, that's a little fancy. Some curtain rails, they have big knobs and maybe you can hide there a watch. Under the bottom of a drawer. Why not? In the fridge. And then I called the police. And I asked them, hey, a burglar, where does he search mostly? And they sent me a list as well. In the wardrobe, under the mattress, in the cookie jar or cornflakes box, in books, in flower pots, under flower pots, in the fridge, behind pictures, in a lockable drawer, in the dirty laundry. Yeah, and I think it's not 100% matching, but 80% matching. So I think my list is useless. We need a better idea. And then a brilliant idea came across. At least I found it brilliant at that point of time, and it was this. Yeah, your medicine chest. There are a lot of little boxes, and you can easily hide a watch in those boxes. Why not? And I thought, well, you got it, you got it. You can spread this with your audience, and everybody will be grateful. But now I have some doubts because burglars, they're searching for valuable items. Imagine prescriptive drugs like strong painkillers and that sort of stuff. I don't store them here, but if you have a sick family member and he needs some strong medication, maybe you have medication in your house with a worth hundreds or even thousands. So if I was a burglar, I would check the medicine chest for sure. Okay, and now I'd like to discuss a misconception about burglaries, about burglars. If you imagine a burglar, maybe you imagine a person in a hurry, a guy who's rushing through your apartment with minutes on the counter. And that's not true. That's not true. I've mentioned the burglaries, see the majority of burglaries in Hamburg were executed by an East European mob, professionals in other words. And a professional burglar like that, he doesn't break in your house at night. He does this in the morning hour when everybody's at work. And if he's in your house, then he have to stay away from the window and then he's safe. Maybe he has some hours to do the job. And you can read this in a newspaper. Sometimes they grab a burglar who fell asleep because he's so relaxed. He has plenty of time. So if a burglar's in your apartment, then he will check probably the entire list. And maybe he has its own list and it's even longer and more advanced. So what can we do? And my answer to this is rent a locker. Yes. You have a local bank, and most banks in the Western world, they offer this little or even bigger lockers, and you can rent them for, here it costs 30 euro a year. So it's very affordable. And my bank is 100 meters in that direction. So I lock everything. I have probably, most of the time, I have 2 watches in the house. The one I'm wearing, and one for the weekend or for some dirtier work or something like that. Okay, I've mentioned several times smart criminals, but let's talk a little bit about the dumb ones. I have a funny story. The week my girlfriend gave me their call, my watchmaker was very close to be robbed by some criminals. And the day before the attempt, he noticed there were 2 suspicious guys in front of his shop, and they were observing everything, and he thought, well, this could be it. And before the night, he took everything with great value out of the window. And then at, I think, 9 p.m., they came back, and one of the guy, he threw a stone through the window, but he was unable to target the right spot, so the hole was very, very high. And he tried to grab the watches like that. And I wish I had seen him stuck like that, waiting for the police. But he could pull out his arm, badly scratched, I guess, and he could get away without any prey, without any watches. Okay, that's all about burglaries here. Little extra for you. After making yesterday's video, I made some outtakes, so to speak. And if you want to see a watch guy playing ultra super fast gypsy jazz on an old guitar, then you can check it out. It's well hidden after the outro. So thank you very much for your attention. I hope I did something useful here. And if you missed something, if you want to add something, please leave a comment. Until next time. Deep, 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 deep.